Hi everyone, it's Clint. Welcome to Sweetcast, and I'm trying a new format here. This is not a cell phone video. Apologies if anything looks strange. I'm trying something new out, and I want to talk about this issue of Daredevil. Daredevil Goes Berserk. This is issue number 173 from Frank Miller's run. It's this omnibus, yes, that I'm not finished with it yet, guys. I've got a lot of other things to read, but I'm well into it, and it's been fun so far just to see how things have progressed for Frank Miller. Anyway, we're going to get into this and get into specifically a subplot that you could not do today. I would challenge anybody to do the same kind of subplot the way that has been done here and not be destroyed, canceled, so forth. And that's because the world has just changed so drastically. And so I'm going to show you. First off, check out Fatal. It's on Indiegogo right now. We just passed $90,000. Thank you so much, everybody that helped us get there. If you haven't backed yet, consider it. It's in the link in the description below. One of the best looking comic books you're going to see anywhere. All right, so here we go into the story. The subplot I want to go over is, well, first off, we have a villain here, and then we have a reforming villain, a recovering villain, and they both happen to look exactly the same. Yes, so like something that can only happen in comic books, but here we have it happening, and it's actually covering some really deep subject matter. Okay, so the subplot that I want to go over is essentially Daredevil and his assistant Becky, who is a wheelchair user. They go to the prison, they go to the jail, I guess, to talk to their client who, he did this little thing where he terrorized people in a, super villain costume, the Gladiator, I believe. And so now they're representing him because he's a changed man. He had some problems. And so that's actually an interesting point in and of itself, in that, you got to go through the justice system. So I like that about Daredevil. All right. So the thing is, he looks and sees Becky. He says, hello. She faints, because that's the reaction that everybody should have when they see somebody they recognize from the past. Turns out, as Becky explains, she was brutally beaten. She was victimized. She was put into a wheelchair by this man. Now we know, because these two guys look the same, that it wasn't actually the Gladiator. It was Berserk that did it. Okay. She does not know that yet. She thinks they're one and the same person. She just can't stand it. There's a bit of conflict here, which is great. That's great storytelling. Now we're already getting into some territory that is sensitive. It's gone from a kid's book to very adult themes. How do you cover these very adult themes? And Matt Murdock goes on to basically reprimand Becky. He tells her that she really should have reported this to the police. Now, they don't go over all the details, but you could read into it and guess. I don't want to say the R word on YouTube, but she was really made a victim of this guy. Again, it's left up to your imagination. And at the least, she was beaten so badly that she, presumably can never use her legs again. And so she's quite upset about it. Matt Murdock wants her to report it and is upset that she would not have reported it, because, he would have done this presumably to other victims. So why not report it? At the same time, she's gone through something very traumatic and wants to forget it. Does this all sound familiar? This is so poignant. It is, I don't know. It touches on things that are going on today. It's relevant. That's the word I'm searching for. Relevant today. You think about the Me Too movement, and why would you not? If this happened to you, why would you not have reported it at the time? Why wait? Or why, hide it? Like, what's the point there? So this is actually interesting, and it's relevant. A great panel here too with Becky's reaction. She shouts at Matt and says, leave me alone, get out of here. Just get out of here. And the story moves along. So that's interesting in and of itself. Now, you would assume that the resolution to this would be that Matt Murdock is being a terrible person, and it's absolutely, Becky is the right thing is whatever Becky chooses to do. That's the problem that I have. It's not that that's the correct outcome or that could be an outcome. It's just that that is the predetermined outcome for this conflict. If you were to see the same thing go in comic books today, I guarantee you the way that it would work is if Matt Murdock even suggested that she should have reported it to the police, he would be shamed. He would be the bad guy. But this is a much better way to do it. We have the conflict. It is what it is. You move on with the story. There's no winner or loser. Now, as we go through the story, you find out they're not the same person. And Matt Murdock actually gets put into like a rough scenario. Let me backtrack here a bit. There we go. They're pouring beer, holding him down. Several men are holding him down, pouring beer on his face beyond his control, beating him senseless, just like Becky. He understands now, or he understands just a little bit of how this guy operates. He's going to just be brutal. Now, of course, it's Daredevil, so he wins the conflict. He gets out of there. Again, great panel here at the bottom with that Thawk. He beats him down. All right, so from there, Matt Murdock is able to empathize a little bit. Isn't that what we all need? That's what they say on Twitter, empathy. And so Matt Murdock goes to Becky and he tells her, he says, Becky, something happened last night that made me understand at least a part of what you went through years ago. And I wish I could say that it was all right, that everything is all right now, but I can't. And see his face is bruised and battered. And he says, the man who battered you has been arrested, but there isn't enough evidence to convict him without your testimony. You may be the only victim who has seen his face, Becky. If you don't call the police and report what happened to you, he'll go free. And so to that, Daredevil leaves. This is basically he's finished his lecture. He's left, and now Becky has left her own thoughts. Great series of panels here. The only dialogue we have is at the end, which is get me the police, but you can see that she's struggling through what to do. And ultimately she decides to call the police. Now, what I like about this is that there's no moral judgment. On one hand, you could say, well, Daredevil's the hero, and his conclusion was that she needed to call the police. He went through a similar situation, and he still thinks she needs to call the police. But ultimately, it's up to Becky what she does. She does call the police. It's a very difficult thing to do. This whole scenario would not fly today. I guarantee it, because the solution would be it's whatever she wants to do. And of course it is. Like, ultimately, this is, again, Becky's decision. But she's rising to the challenge to testify in court to put this guy in prison. And therefore, it's going to also exonerate their client, who happens to just look the same. So anyway, really interesting subplot. Interesting way to address a very difficult subject that I don't think you could do the same way today in comics. I don't know, man. People are just weird about it. Anyway, so let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the format as well. Just some interesting stuff with writing. But if you have any other issues that you want to talk about, you want me to talk about, go over in a video about writing or any kind of sequence that you think would be interesting, let me know. Don't forget to check out Fatal on Indiegogo, and I will see you in the next video.